That was supposed to be us! That was supposed to be Liquid! Liquid will never hurt anyone again. This one's for me!
Hey, Ovilee, what's going on?
I'm here on behalf of Reddit.
Okay, do you want to come inside?
Yeah.
Why do you still read Reddit?
I don't know, I'm a masochist. All right, well, hello everyone, and welcome to a very interesting series of episodes of the Liquid Update powered by Alienware. Now, Jatt, usually when we do this show, we're covering the team at a specific event. But right now, we are covering some important off-season changes, which is why we brought you on. Good to see you again. I feel like the last time we got to interact was, what, LCSDs
It was a
pre-COVID?
long time ago.
Yeah.
So probably some point during the spring split.
Yeah.
It's been a while. How you doing?
Good. Do you remember like when we would just sit there either watching MSI or whatever and we're like, oh my gosh, NA, I believe in you, and just cheering them on and hoping for international success?
Yeah. And then, we really totally almost did it again. So it was fine.
Almost?
Yeah, we're really close.
Oh,
Yeah, 3-3.
3-3, is that close? I feel like we were 3-3 last year too, so.
A little bit.
A little bit? It's
fine.
What went wrong there?
Yeah, a little bit.
No, what happened? What happened?
It's fine.
We want answers, Jatt. Listen, there are so many NA fans who are just like sitting there wondering, well, TSM is sure as shit done. FlyQuest, not many people expected too much from them.
Yeah, so Liquid's actually gone 3-3 3 years in a row. And Dodo has been one game short of making it to quarters 4 years in a row because he was on Immortals in 2017.
Oh my God.
So next year, we're definitely going to change things because when you do something 4 times in a row, it never happens 5. It's impossible.
Okay. All right, I don't even know where my little heart can go from here, but okay, so international stuff aside, checking in with you, this is now, you're ending your first, I guess, like half a year as a coach for Liquid. You came in during the summer split, during the first ever freaking pandemic that any of us have probably experienced, so how you doing? Reflecting back on all your work.
Oh man, it's been like, I don't know, like 3 weeks, a month since Worlds ended, but it feels like it was still really recent, and we work on off-season stuff, but like, it was so disappointing to lose the way we did because we ended on like a streak. So in like one sense, it's really lucky because we could end the season feeling like we had improved, but also really unsatisfying because then you start going back in time and thinking like, if we would have just played the first Machi game a little bit better, or if we would have drafted a little bit better against G2 the second time around, like just one more win is all we need.
Yeah.
But I think that's also balanced by like, and one more loss and we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Yeah.
Overall, I think when I zoom out and I see where this team came from after spring split, when it was super disappointing and it looked like the house was on fire, 9th place, even though like, we say 9th place to be like a little dramatic. They were a game away from beating C9 in the last game of the regular season, so I knew there was a lot of talent on the team. And we really bounced back in summer, right? We did 15-3, which was actually more wins than Liquid had ever had during the regular split in any of the past iterations. But then we failed in playoffs, right? Like we lost a 5-game series to FlyQuest, we lost a 5-game series to TSM. Thinking back, like we're thinking if we do better in NA and we finish first, I felt like that group would have been easier, and then maybe we could have done that. So like we only really had ourselves to blame for anything that happened. I'm just really hoping to do better next year, and I know that's what happens every single year, but at least this was my first experience, so I can still say that like confidently, like I'll fix it. So that's what we're going for next year.
Yeah, coming like I'm just the new guy, I'm still getting warmed up. Just wait till you see me in 2021. The Rona was holding me back. No, but we're going to spend this entire conversation talking about the team. But before we jump into that, I just want to jump in for you specifically.
Okay.
How was the whole coaching experience and stepping in? You're coming in from a caster position, which, I'm familiar with as well. We're like, what is Liquid? Come on, hey, be better, is what we're yelling at the screen or when you're casting over the games. But now you're in the shoes, like you're in that role. So what was that like for you?
Yeah, it is definitely higher pressure it's more stressful, but some of it is fun because you can actually have influence over what happens. Like, this doesn't happen in other sports. In a sense, like it does, where a former player then becomes a commentator and then becomes a coach. Like Steve Kerr did this. He's currently the coach of the Golden State Warriors, and in his like first couple years coaching, he won like 2 NBA championships. So it can happen, but it's definitely one of those things where you really have to learn fast.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a blur to go through all of it, but overall, like I think I'm doing well.
Hey, okay, I'm excited. We see all the casters, like I think, DeFicio did it too over in EU. Whenever caster leaves, we're like, I believe in you, I'm gonna miss you, but I believe in you. Yeah. And honestly, like you still got the team to World, so I think everyone was very much
And we made it through play-ins, and we took a game off of every team in our groups. Like there's a lot of things that we can build off of for next year.
Now you just mentioned play-ins, and we do have to ask on behalf of all of the production team here, did the WAP song help team morale at all?
I mean, when did it release? It was
right after playing.
Right after playing. What happened right after playing? Yeah, were they like thrilling successes?
When your Nexus is under fire and 37 minutes in, Machi takes the win.
You cannot stop Draven from Suning, and they take down Team Liquid.
So what you're saying is that we distracted the players. Our work was so good. You guys can't see right now, but I am toasting to all of the production people holding the cameras. We distracted the players with our very good content, which or according to Reddit, we had the best performance in NA. But hey, let's go ahead and talk about how we're going to be improving. You're here to talk to me about changes. Do we want to just hit the biggest one out first?
Yeah, sure. So there's a lot of coaching staff changes coming into next year.
Let's hear it.
So as everyone knows by now, Kane has moved on. We're no longer with Croissant, our assistant coach, and we're no longer with Tyler, who is our head analyst. And I have like nothing but respect for all of those guys. I think what happens in a lot of pro sports or in a lot of coaching positions is if a head coach joins a team, they often come with their own staff.
Okay.
And when I joined right in between spring and summer, we were on a really short timeline. And I also wanted to experience coaching for a while to really kind of figure out what I wanted. So coming into 2021, like I really have an opportunity that I'm excited for to like build my staff. And I have nothing but respect for all of our coaches. I feel like they will continue to be good coaches. They will continue to grow. I'm gonna be competing against them in the LCS, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm bringing in like my coaching staff, which is really exciting.
Okay, this is actually super exciting to hear then. It's like Jatt's power coaching team, this squad that you're putting together of all these analytical minds. Tell me how you form that and who's joining us.
So first one I'll touch on is Kold. So I feel like he is like a huge catch for a coaching position because he checks a lot of boxes of what I think can be a really great like contribution to a staff. For those of you who don't know, like his name used to be Trashy. He played in the LCS, but then he also went to Worlds with Splice. He jungled for Origin, had a lot of success there, and he actually was a positional coach for Broxa during Worlds. So we actually got to work with him a little bit. He was remote, so he kind of watched our scrims. He was in some of our reviews. I chatted with him a whole bunch, and I could tell there was going to be like a really good chemistry between him and I. And I also do like pretty strongly believe that recent pro play experience is so valuable in relating to other players. And I know that even in a pinch, he's going to be a hell of a positional coach for jungle, and he's really committed to doing so much more. So he's not the type of player coach who comes into a team and is just using this as like 3 months of a paycheck before he can become a player again. Like he is completely committed to being a quality coach in League of Legends, and it's going to be like I've already had several like long conversations with him about the way we want to structure things, the way we want to give feedback, the style we want to play, how we're going to interact with the players on the team, and I think it's going to be a great fit.
And to those people who are coming in saying like, oh, okay, well, only bad players retire and then move into coaching, that's completely not the case here.
Yeah, I think Kold was incredibly good at the moment where he retired. He retired for personal reasons. It's not like the team didn't want him to play there. I'll leave it to him when you talk to him about talking to that. He's talked about it on several podcasts in the past as well, so he's very open about it. But yeah, I think it's the right time in his career to move into coaching, and I think it's going to be good.
And have you spoken with, I know he worked closely closely with Broxa, but of the players that you've spoken with, are they also generally excited to be working with him in the future too?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's respect there. Like, he was always known as a pretty cerebral player, so that automatically gives you like a good start, and then we're gonna see, right? We're gonna have to get the trust building between him and the players and the rest of the staff, and we'll kind of grow together.
Now, I know that this is still your like first year of coaching officially, so do you think that in a way, bringing Kold in, who is just starting coaching as well, do you feel like you have to do like a coaching the coach mentorship program at all? Is that something that's important to you when you, like you just said, you're building out your own coaching squad?
Yeah, there's one other thing that I think makes me happy about the plan for 2021 is Dodo is definitely still here, and he's really important to our players.
Dodo! Okay,
So yeah, so Dodo, for those of you who don't know, he's been with Liquid since the beginning of franchising, and he's also been a team manager and a former pro player, like dating back to like years ago in the LCS. And he's like such an important link to the past and resource of information for all the things that have gone well or not gone well. And I think previously he kind of had this unnamed title where he did a little bit of everything, from like team manager who might drive the players in to, you know, being a translator. He's also been an assistant coach, like he's ran reviews before, he can contribute to draft, and he's being like more officially recognized now as the team's general manager. So yeah, he's also there to just, whenever maybe Kold and I want an opinion on something that happened in the past, or like what was it like at Worlds 2018, he's gonna be able to pitch in those ways. So I think that's gonna work really well together.
Yeah, his experience just altogether is so valuable, as you said. Player, manager, coach, he knows freaking everything and can give that input on almost anything.
And he's really chill and reliable. So like he's not the type of person that I think will overreact, which is going to be probably like a shared trait that I look for, especially with a lot of coaching staffs, is like, I'm sure people who have watched me casting know that I'm relatively analytical and I like to look at both sides of things. So I want to have a lot of people who are okay with that type of conversation, and I think Dodo is that.
Do you ever value someone questioning your take?
Definitely.
And do you see that in Kold, or do you see that in anyone else that you're looking to bring forward?
I mean, it's an interesting balance, and maybe we're getting like a little too theoretical here, because I want people to question takes, but I also want it to be like an open mind and to be open to logic and not be like super tunnel visioned on like I must see this thing. Yeah. So that's to keep growing with in the future.
I like that. Jatt, you're wrong. No. You're
Maybe.
fired. No, yeah, maybe.
That's usually the answer. You're wrong. Well, let's talk about it.
All right, so we've talked about people making their departures like Kane. We've talked about Kold coming on. We've talked about Dodo staying on as GM. We've talked about, you reflecting on your whole past of coaching so far. And honestly, I think a lot of fans are going to be watching with great interest as we move into 2021. Now, on the opposite side, things that fans aren't going to be watching, Academy. So let's go ahead and talk about that, any changes that we might see there.
Yeah, we are revamping our like whole Academy system. It wasn't valued appropriately last split at Team Liquid. I mean, we went 3-15. Like the Academy team definitely failed.
Yeah.
And we need to do better. And like just to be completely clear about Academy, the purpose to me of Academy or an amateur program is not to win the league. It's to develop LCS level players, and winning the league is a byproduct of that goal. Another exciting announcement is, the exciting announcement is not that the OPL shut down, but that's related to this. That's actually really tragic news.
Can we just get like a rip for all the koalas, kangaroos, repping like the OPL jerseys? Because, I'm sorry, go ahead. What was that about? All of our friends being jobless now?
Yeah, speaking of friends though, we got Spawn.
We got Spawn?
Yeah, we got Spawn. We got Spawn to run our Academy league. So he'll be the head coach of our Academy team, and I'm really excited about that because people don't actually know like how long Spawn and I go back. But yeah, I've worked with him through a lot of international events. He has a lot of experience running teams as well. Like he was the GM and head coach of Order, who finished second place in 2020 and was like a couple games away from going to Worlds because Legacy ended up beating them out and going to Worlds. So I think he's excited about it. You're going to be talking to him in a bit, and I'm really excited about him building Academy and making that team stronger and our talent development pipeline work.
Now, I can ask him all the detailed questions of everything, but I guess what was the decision maker and what was the thought process behind scooping him up first? Because just as you said, he has that GM experience. He has like the experience of, I guess, working with all the OSH players. Wait, now I'm thinking of things. I'm theorizing things. Are we going hard for Osh players for Academy, or is...
You can't sign players until the 16th, so I don't know. I'm not sure. Like,
what day is it? Change the day.
Fun ones.
Spin the cycles around. Let's have the world go in a couple more circles. Okay. Does this mean that he's going to be coming to LA? I know that we have the pandemic and everything still, but...
Yeah, so the plan is that he's gonna be here throughout most of the season when possible. So if we need to do remote access for some of the coaching, he's gonna be capable of doing that. He was remote coaching Order. He's very comfortable and knows how to run that ship. So if need be, he's switched his schedule over to Pacific time, like he communicates completely in Pacific time, so there's no confusions there, and he'll be remote if needed, but the plan is to have him here.
All right, so we've covered just about everything, but just to be sure, so what does this big picture look like when we're looking at the coaching staff?
Yeah, so I'll give you like the whole staff.
Lay it on me.
We actually have a lot of people that work behind the scenes, and I'm going to hopefully not forget anyone because we have the coaching staff, the analyst staff, and the academy staff, and they all work together. So we have Dodo and myself, GM head coach, and then we have Kold, the strategic coach. We also have Yaltz, who was our former academy head coach, moving to head analyst. He also has TK, who's been with Liquid for like 6 years as a remote analyst.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, we have Sahil, who's also like basically data engineer, also working on the analyst team to help really make our data super powerful. We'll have Spawn as the academy head coach, and then we're also gonna have a two-way coach who's working with Spawn on academy, but also comes to the LCS team when we need a specific task done or when academy is on cooldown or on off season or something. And that's a position that we're still finalizing, so I can't talk about that yet. So, and we also have Fastfee as team manager. So we have a lot of people on the league team that is gonna be really cool to work with moving into 2021.
So basically what you're saying is that there is an open position. So for all of you Team Liquid fans, Jatt has a message. Jatt, plug the job description.
We are still finalizing the two-way coach job position.
Apply if you're good at numbers, math, and can say yes to Jatt, but also challenge him on some things, but then ultimately still say yes to Jatt.
Yeah, we have a candidate that's basically gonna be coming on, so don't waste too much time.
Your hopes and dreams are dashed. You thought that you had an opportunity to get into the LCS. It's over. Welcome to the real world. But Jatt, thank you so much for coming on, chatting with us. I know that this is like off-season time, so it's busy for you, but also don't forget to take a deep breath, relax, and then don't f us over for next year in international events.
Why are you still here?
Listen, I was only brought on here because they told me if I did this show, I could be a flower girl at Core JJ's wedding.
Yeah, he's already married.
What the f? All right, we've got Spawn joining us. He's gonna talk Academy. Let's go ahead, bring him in.
G'day, mate. Glad to be here.
Spawn, good to see you again. I've missed you dearly. But here's the thing. We're talking to you because you just got signed on to take care of Academy for Team Liquid. So tell me, how did that come about? Because that felt a little random to me. To you? What do you think?
So I've kind of been like thinking about what, the future looks like for a while now for myself. I'd been speaking on and off to a couple of teams around North America, and I actually had spoken to Steve earlier in the year. And then when this opportunity became available, Steve and I reconnected through Jatt, who's someone I've known for a really long time. And this time it just made sense. A lot of the pieces lined up. I'm really passionate about bringing in the next generation of League of Legends players. Steve's vision for the role really kind of suited where I wanted to take it. And this time it just made sense to make that leap to North America.
So you've got your best buddy Jatt on Liquid, and then you also have Steve, his vision matching up with yours, but you said you spoke with a bunch of different teams, so what really made Liquid stand out to you?
I mean, when you have a look at kind of the resources available to an organization like Team Liquid, when you have a look at kind of the history the organization has, it's very easy to trust that they're going to do what they say, right? And I think that a lot of teams have a vision for what they want their academy and youth teams to look like. But when I have someone within the organization like Jatt that I've worked with for 5 years now, and an organization like Liquid that has just had so much damn success in North America, it's kind of difficult to say no to that, right? Because it was almost too good to be true.
Yeah, Liquid has had crazy success. We know they had the back-to-back wins. But let's talk about Academy, because not so much. 3-15 the last split for Academy. So you've got your work cut out for you. what's the first step?
I mean, I think the 3 and 15, like, it looks really bad on paper, but then you have to remember that Tactical got promoted up to the LCS roster, and when you lose someone like your best player like that, I think that it is kind of hard to bounce back. Rikara came in and did a pretty good job, but I think, with a lot of difficult challenges of the 2020 season, you've got COVID, you've got a change in the 80 carry roster, you've got things moving all over the place. It was quite a tough season, so hopefully the first thing I bring into the roster is a lot of stability. I think that when we go out and get this lineup, our goal is to get 5 players that we think can make that step to the LCS level. We want to invest in young players from a couple of different regions that will be able to come in and have immediate impact, and we can start training quite quickly. And I think that the other thing is that it looks like the main roster is going to be much more solid. So hopefully I do get, a split or two to work with these guys and have some consistency behind it as well.
Where Jatt just doesn't steal your players is what you're saying.
Yeah, correct. What I'm trying to say is if Jatt jacks some of my players, he better give me some good replacements, because otherwise it could just be doomed again from the start.
Yeah. Now, going back to what you said about building out that team of 5 players, potentially from different regions, the big news moving into 2021, which a little sucks for you, is that the OPL is, kaput.
It's doomed.
But the good news is that you now have an entire region of players that are accessible that, may not have been looked at before. So, you see Cloud9 picking up Fudge and moving him around. So do you have similar plans with this player base?
Yeah, when you have a look at kind of what happened in the OPL at the end of 2019 into the 2020 season, you had Ryoma, Triple, Fudge, King, and Destiny all being shopped around into different regions, right? And whilst people are really hyped about Fudge, King actually came into Cloud9 Academy and had some pretty good immediate impact as well. There's this guy running amok on Golden Guardians called FBI that seems to be quite a good 80 carry. Lost is sitting there over on TSM Academy. So Oceanic players do seem to be having quite good success right now in the North American region. And I think now that they're not going to take up an import slot, that allows a whole host of people, and maybe some of the untried talent, because a lot of the talent was picked up, apart from Fudge, was really proven within the OPL. But now you're going to have a whole host of different, first or second year players that are going to be able to come into this academy system, and hopefully with the increased infrastructure that North America is going to be able to bring, take that next step and become legitimate superstar players in their own right. So I think this is an awesome opportunity for OS players. Sure, it sucks for a lot of the people left at home, but what is done is done. Now you got to kind of take those steps forward, start looking at the positives of the situation, and I'm hoping that there are some players that we can bring into the Team Liquid kind of ecosystem and infrastructure, and maybe start breeding some OS talent into some North American superstars.
I'm sure a lot of people would be super excited to see that happen. Now, more of a personal question for you taking on this role, I do kind of want to ask about the pressures or responsibilities that you're taking on, because at least the one similarity between the Academy and OPL scene is that, no one watches. So just tell me a little bit about the stress and responsibilities there.
So for those that don't know, I was commentating last year, obviously, but I was also the general manager and coach of an organization within the OPL. And as you mentioned, very few people are going to know that. There'll be a minute portion of this audience. But I think there actually isn't all that much stress on me, because now I'm getting rid of half the role. I'm no longer going to be a general manager on top of my coaching responsibilities. I'm not going to have to show up and commentate on the weekends. So I can just be laser focused in creating Team Liquid Academy into the best team I can personally make it. And that gives me a lot of actual stress relief, to be honest, that I'm no longer juggling these two hats of do I have to be biased or unbiased? What are my sponsor commitments this week and those kind of things? Now I can just be really focused on being able to build this roster, instill in them the values that I think lead to success, and hopefully being able to work with the team within Team Liquid around the coaching staff to really be able to give 110% to these players, and as I said, hopefully start to level them up.
Now, with picking up all of these individual players, I think one of the things that we often see is that, yes, all of the newbies that we pull in, either from scouting grounds, from the collegiate scene, or from, OPL or different regions, a lot of them just need so much guidance. They have that raw mechanical skill, but they don't know how to work with other teammates in person. They don't know how to work and operate in the office system that we now have with the Alienware training facility behind me. So I guess do you have a plan in place to help these players work into and kind of like assimilate into this type of environment?
Yes and no, right? Because like I haven't exactly been in the Team Liquid environment, but what I have been able to do historically is bring new players into rosters and get pretty quick results. A lot of the people on my previous organization, you know, they were first or second year players, you know, not necessarily rookies, but you know, that next level, and we were able to actually make the OPL finals this year. And the way you do that is by, you know, getting people all on the same page at the start of the year, and then making sure that you're allocating like tasks out to the right staff. So like a big part of this is going to make sure that we have the right assistant coaches, two-way player coaches, that the players always have access to people like myself and Jatt, and that they feel comfortable within the structure that they're there and that they believe in it, that this is actually what's going to make them good. And then I think that the other portion you mentioned is, you know, these oceanic players or scouting grounds players, maybe not necessarily being a part of a team, but what I've seen is that as League of Legends gets older as a game, this becomes less and less of a factor, because it's expected now that you're going to have to go into a team environment at some point in time, that you're going to have to be able to get along with people, that maybe you can keep a room slightly tidy and not piss people off along the way, right? So I just think that like these players are getting better at that. It helps to have a slightly older coaching staff that can maybe instill some of these values into the players as well. And you know, I always joke that I got 2 kids of my own at home, but then every time I pick up a team, I add 5 more children to that team and 5 more people that I have to be able to mentor and teach in that kind of way. And I think it's all the little things that ultimately make you successful at the end of the year. And I'm really excited to see whether I can do that with a North American organization now.
I love how your children are still super young though. They're like 5 and how old?
Well, so my little boy is 3, and then Jenna and I just had a son actually 15 days ago. So
15 days ago? Oh my God, what are you doing sitting here talking with me? Go help. No.
He's still asleep at the moment, so that's the other thing about the role. It's very early in the morning that I now get to work, so that's all good. So yeah, Jasper's 3 and Henry, 15 days.
Which one is harder to deal with? A mid laner having a breakdown or your 15-day-old son?
Definitely mid laners having breakdowns, to be honest. So like 15-day-old kids, like that's on Jenna a lot of the time. Like I can help, I can kind of like bounce him to sleep or like go change a nappy or something like that. But mid laners, they've got some stuff going on in their life sometimes, Ovilee. You know, they're being called to help repel people invading their blue buff. Like sometimes they don't get second blue because we're maybe playing Karthus jungle or something like that. Like there are some in-depth problems that you have to be able to work through with mid lane. When you're on blue side, you don't always get counter pick. Like, the life of a mid laner is tough. 15-day-old kid, Henry's got it easy.
I love it. All right, okay, now this is the last question that I'll kind of leave you with, and I know I poked fun at it before. What are you personally going to do so that people care about the Academy scene?
Hopefully win. Do you know what? People like to just support winners. Like,
yeah.
I'll come out and say it. And I think that if we've got Team Liquid sitting first, which it looks like it's going to, and Team Liquid Academy having some good success as well in the Academy roster, like I'm sure people will just watch winners. That's my whole motto in life. I'm a bandwagon supporter myself. Like we will just welcome aboard the masses from Academy, and they can just jump on the TL bandwagon, and we'll just win some games for them. Ovilee, I gotta go. That's one of my mid laners breaking down.
Bye. Well, that's a wrap on all of our coaching updates moving into the next year for the Liquid Update powered by Alienware. Stick around, like, follow, subscribe, all that fun stuff, because next week we're gonna have another episode to talk about players once free agency opens up. And then we will release the big announcement that I will be joining Team Liquid as the new support player to lead NA to international success. Wait, no, don't look at these. No, my team was feeding. No, that one wasn't my fault. No, stop, it's the end of the season. I lagged, I DC'd, stop, no!